I love playing Minecraft on the same world, however, doing it for so many years creates all sorts of funky issues you might not have thought of. From a hole in my void to this weird cuboid, there are all sorts of world errors that have long since been fixed in new worlds, but for me, they act as kind of tricks, such as getting 21 end gateways when you're meant to have 20. There are so many other benefits and downsides of having a world so old, and today I figured I'd show you every single one of them that I know so far. This is my world I've been playing continuously since 2012 on the Xbox 360 edition, which is why I have this big river going all the way around the edge of my world. This isn't actually a river, it is in fact a world border that comes from the Xbox 360 edition days. The Xbox 360 worlds were limited, indeed all old-gen consoles were limited, to 864 by 864 blocks. This means when you go 432 blocks in any direction, you hit what would be a endless ocean, and so since it used to be endless ocean past 432 blocks, in the last chunk just before the ocean, they decided to transition the biome slowly from whatever it was before into the ocean, and that looks something like this. And then later, after the Xbox 360 became the Xbox One, after 432 blocks could be expanded, and my world was included in that. However, now the previous chunk can't be deleted because what if you built in it maybe a giant too high wall, and so I have a giant border going all the way around what used to be my 360 size world. This is still where I do most of my building to date because I like the idea of limited worlds, but sometimes I have to go out pretty far. In today's video, I'm going to go from the oldest issues on this world right up to the newest issues of the current updates, because there are some fun ones. However, let's go a little back in time, not just to issues affecting the Xbox or console editions, but instead let's go to one that affected every single world before Java 1.2. That is a very big claim, but trust me, it's true, because look around and you'll see that this terrain is very much swampy. You probably even saw some frogs earlier, right? But this is not what swamp trees look like. I mean, actually, it sort of is. And so for a better example, here I am in a desert. Doesn't it look so much like a believable desert today? I mean, sure, it has some of those trees of the vines, but I mean, look at the color of the grass. Also, where is all the sand? Well, the answer to that is that worlds built before 1.2 had their seed data stored separately to the world data. This meant that if the seed was to change, your world would have all the same blocks in it, but the seed underlying it would be very different. So at some point before 1.2, generating a world using the seed everything, which is the seed I used all those years ago because I wanted everything in this world. Little did I know how much of that I'd be building myself, by the way. But because I wanted the seed, I used the seed everything, at some point over here, that would have generated a desert. However, I have a swamp here, and so even though those swamp blocks are still there, underneath it is a desert. This gives me the fun distinction of having a frozen taiga biome that's actually a jungle. This snow has slowly been melting over the years, and so it looks just a little bit patchy. Perhaps more famously, I also had a frozen ocean that was part of the jungle biome, but I've been slowly rectifying that issue by training the entire thing. It used to all be as deep as that one chunk was, and let's just say that was a silly project. And I can't mention famous projects without saying I have a desert where it started to rain, and so since it's not a desert anymore, I figured I'd lend them a hand and remove all of the sand. It's all gone now. Honestly, saying it's all gone now might be a good slogan for this world as a whole. I mean, this whole place used to be mountains and swamps, and now look at it. By the way, speaking of holes, something really interesting about this world is a hole that goes back as far as I can tell. This seems like a weird one to feature in the video because I'm not actually sure how old it is, but let me show you something absolutely wild that you can find just over here, if you don't mind a little bit of almost death. That is a hole that goes all the way down into the void. It is very dangerous to fly into. You might have noticed I've had to make a copy of the world just so I can take the risk here, because let me show you something insane that you shouldn't be able to do on any survivor world. Let's fly right down here, and then let's, oh no, 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 okay. We're fine, we're fine. Look at this, I'm great. And now we're gonna get ourselves back up into the world, and I'm surviving. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Doing that with all my stuff is maybe a little bit terrifying. But yeah, this is one of the most interesting issues that any Minecraft world can have, because Bedrock is meant to be unbreakable, so how did I break it here? And I'd love to tell you I did something special here, but the fun thing is I didn't know this existed until I went mining recently and just came across a hole in my void. Seriously, I was just looking for amethyst geodes when I found this whole chunk that was suspiciously dug up. And here's the weird thing, the only way I assumed this could have generated was 1.18, because it's right down here at -60 64, an area which didn't exist until that update, right? However, something interesting is this is likely much older. How much older? Let's find out together. I happen to have old copies of the world, so this is 2023 where I found the particular hole. And now this is a copy of the world from early 2020, just after 1.16. Let's see if the hole is still there. Wait, early 2020 was before the Nether update, as you can tell from all of my diamond gear. Not a single piece of netherite. Isn't it crazy? That was 3 years ago was when we got those things. It feels like netherite's been a part of Minecraft forever now, right? Whoa, it's still here too. And even crazier, this was before netherite. Apparently all you need to do is go back 3 years and netherite's gone. Kind of unexpected. But now let's go all the way back to 2017 for the Xbox One edition. They've missed me. I've missed you too, Minecraft. This was the last time I played it officially on the Xbox One, so let's see what's happening in the olden days of 2017. It looks like I was working on the Woodland Mansion conversion. I destroyed an entire Woodland Mansion, put it back together. Very fun thing, by the way. But yeah, let's use the very different Elytra mechanics to see. Oh god, it's so weird to me. I was not expecting any of this. Yeah, if we go back another 3 years, we get back to the old textures, and now the Nether is just unrecognizable. It's not even pre-Nether update, it's just pre-everything. Also, all of the ghasts are moonwalking. It's a little confusing. Oh, I forgot. That Elytra did not have infinite durability. Well, there's a lesson to be learned in this. Remember to bring one of these guys around with you. Can you believe this is what they used to look like? I don't know why I can't, but I really cannot. I've worked out the reason that I'm dying is because I am not using the Ocelot skin, which I bought, but I can't use right now. So I guess we'll use the closest thing Minecraft has. It's the cat maid. Why is there a cat maid skin in Minecraft? I don't know, but that's me right now, apparently. Whoa, my Nether is so old, I haven't even linked the two portals yet. They're just kind of disconnected and next to a Nether fortress. It's kind of a fun reminder of how much I've done in the last 6 years. Anyway, it's time to stop being a tourist and to dig my way straight down. It's very confusing using Frostwalker for this stuff, but let's dig all the way down to where Bedrock is, because supposedly something interesting is found there. When I loaded up the world, at some point I generated in this chunk, and in this chunk we have Bedrock like normal. Bedrock tries to generate between about layer 2 and layer 4. It has to be at layer 1 to protect the bottom of the world, but sometimes it goes higher to give you this kind of uneven pattern. Anyway, when there is lava, sometimes in the old console editions, that lava would generate all the way down and then not have bedrock below it, but instead have stone. This stone would be unbreakable, and so you wouldn't actually be able to see a hole in the void. Even if you remove all of the lava, like I'll show you right now, we'll make a lovely little patch around here. But even if we do precisely that, when you look below it, you'll see there is stone there. And so having stone underneath this lava pit isn't actually a particularly big problem, because it basically functions like bedrock in that it's unmineable. I believe this was the 4J solution to some issue, because a lot of worlds do have something like this, and this is something that was totally fine until 1.18 comes along and tries to work out how it should impact existing worlds. And obviously they weren't thinking heavily about the console edition when they made up a rule that was like, yeah, if there is bedrock already at Y4, you could move that all the way down to Y minus 64. However, what do you do about the existing, like a stone that's there? Well, you just replace that with air, and so what happens is a giant hole forms in your world. The hole doesn't exist in this version of the game, and even if it did, you wouldn't be able to fly through it, but this is the bug from my Xbox 360 or Xbox One edition, I can't tell you how far back it goes, that caused all of that to happen. While I'm here, by the way, this is the infinite ocean that generates at the edge of a Minecraft Xbox One world, which is why I have more of those rivers at random points. And then for something fun you might be able to see is if we go straight down below here, then you'll see that this actually applies to the terrain below it, and it even applies to caves. If you look down here, this is a big stone cave wall that also exists in my current version. So yeah, all sorts of weird things that this world has, purely because the Xbox editions and the console editions of Minecraft all had limitations on the world size, so they didn't have to compromise on frame rate or indeed on storage size. Wait, I found an even bigger chunk of bedrock in my nether. Look how much of it is up here. Bedrock is only meant to be at the ceiling and the floor, but yet I have enough of it to stand on and make it a part of a base maybe? That's a fun idea, huh? Anyway, yeah, this is part of another part of the wall, but this is one of the most interesting ones, because as you can see, Nether Fortress there, Nether Fortress over there, a big, new forest from a newish update, and then this random chunk of wall that just has that chilling in it. Something went horribly wrong here, and I just can't tell you what. So moving away from the things that have happened because of console edition, I want to show you some fun that could happen to anyone, because these are chunks that loaded in 1.13 where villages would have been very different in terms of structure, shape, but also placement. And then this is a village that generated post 1.14, the village and pillage update, and so there, after that update, there was meant to be a whole village over here. However, because these chunks are generated before that update, the only part of the village that generated was this partial tiny part of a house with two lovely little window shades or whatever these are, a few sweet berry bushes, and then these planters, these pumpkins, these potatoes, and then a pathway that leads to no other villager houses. This is absolutely hilarious to me that I have two whole blocks of a house, but that's not enough for a bed or a villager. It's just enough to have a little bit of a wall that implies there was meant to be a full village here. It looks like I made it or I destroyed it as a piece of modern art, but boy, let me tell you, that's just the start. Here is something interesting that looks a bit like art, but something that I think can't be passed off as anything like it is this pillager outpost. That is not, again, these seem like the sort of projects that I would do for fun, I can totally acknowledge, but this is a pillager outpost that is designed to impress no one, and the most interesting bit about it is the chest is entirely empty. Something about this pillager outpost went so horribly wrong in the process of spawning that it ended up with this weird piece of art next to it, which is kind of cool, I guess. There's also a floating desert temple nearby that is presumably meant to be a desert underneath it, but I don't really see it. And then also, this isn't broken, but it's really cool. Look, there's just a flag on that random island over there. Isn't that cool? Some people look around the world and they see these, and it's a bit like a blemish or a scar, something to be hidden away and something that is not meant to be seen except from maybe afar. But honestly, I think that I have some personal experiences of scars in the real world. I have some pretty ugly ones from my depressed teenager phase, and although I wouldn't say that scars are something to be aimed for, I think they are a part of your story. They're a part of who you are, and honestly, no matter how objectively ugly they are, they do tell some part of the story of how you got to where you are now, and I think the same is exactly true for your Minecraft world. Your Minecraft world having weird birch trees that have leaves that don't line up with the tops of them is incredibly odd, but it is a natural part of the world, for better or for worse. And I think that accepting that you are going to come with all sorts of upsides and downsides is a normal part of it. You can never make the perfect Minecraft world, so why not acknowledge that sometimes the results are fun? There's a single bamboo tree here. Just one bamboo in the entire place. Oh, and before we leave this segment, here's some more terrain generation that went a bit poo. It's perfectly fine though, because honestly, how often are you using parts of your world 3,000 blocks from spawn? Wouldn't you rather have something fun and ridiculous and entirely nonsensical there? Okay, just me. Well, it's something I really enjoy. And it's so odd. It looks like an entirely different world on each side of this, except this is actually only 2 blocks wide. I don't understand any of it. So next up, let's go to villages, because here's the fun thing. Wait, you know what? No, this village is fun too. It's a village that half generated when it was meant to be, a abandoned village with cobwebs everywhere, and the other half generated as an actual village. And so you have a very bizarre mixture where half of the village is abandoned and covered in zombie villagers, and the other half has real villagers in there. Again, just the world is filled with fun things like this. Speaking of villages, this is my Italian village. They have definitely had no issues with any, radical ideologies. And one of the fun things you might not know about villages generated just after 1.14 is they changed the trading system a little bit afterwards, which means that if you have any villagers from fresh after the update, those villages are inherently different. So one of the obvious ways they're different is when you go to trade with them, instead of trading melon blocks, they trade melon slices. This is a very powerful trade, but to counterbalance the fact that they have all their old trades locked in, they also do fewer trades per batch. So here is a fresh villager I haven't traded with in genuinely months at this point. If I tried to sell him pumpkins, I would be able to sell him 16 batches if he were new, but I can only sell him 4? I thought it was 6. 4 sets of pumpkins? That's the max you can do? Come on, friend. Anyway, so I have loads of farming villagers that are capped on far fewer traders than they're meant to have because they have old and therefore more valuable trades, and this is a Minecraft way of balancing them, I guess. And so yeah, if you have any villagers which were generated before this update, or at least traded with prior to this update, you won't get all the same stuff that you would get today. Something important to remember, because this guy, look, he's new, he'll buy all my pumpkins and even more if I wanted to, and in reverse, I can buy as many apples from him without ever reaching the max of his trades. I now have 40 apples and I don't know what to do with them. Why did I do that? For something more fun, let's go below the sugarcane farm and let's show you something interesting, because as I mentioned previously, if you have a pre-1.18 world, we're that close to the present day now by the way, if you have a pre-1.18 world and you generate it after 1.18, it gives you this fun message asking if you want to back it up, because it will generate new terrain below it. This is breaking one of the fundamental rules of Minecraft by adding new stuff to existing chunks. All of your bedrock would be automatically replaced by deep slate, which is an interesting rule to say the least, but as you can see, this means I have a bunch of caves which are artificially low ceilinged. The ceiling is probably meant to be all the way up at Y6 or 7 or 10 or something like that. I'm meant to have a super tall cave, but because the very top part of it was it had to be bedrock and replaced by deep slate, I have very smooth, very flat roofs, which results in some very odd looking things, like these caves that are 1 block tall but clearly aren't meant to be. And so yeah, I have stuff like that all over my world, weirdly shaped caves, and especially when I'm looking for clay, it's a little bit annoying, but I guess I have bigger problems to think about, because I've recently found these huge cuboids of water and I cannot work out where they're from in particular, but I can work out that I have an extra end gateway. By the way, this is because you're meant to get 20 maximum in a world. They do a nice little, in fact, let's show you from the sky on this one. You get 20 maximum end gateways, one for every time you kill the dragon. I killed the dragon 20 times because I was gonna laminate the end, and so you get 20 of those different gateways leading to different points in your end islands, but I killed the dragon prior to there being 20 of them different ones, which meant this is my original end gateway, and those are the 20 new ones. And if you're meant to get somewhere between 1 and 20 gateways, I have 21, which I think is fun, and this one goes somewhere slightly different than you'd expect, I think. Oh, no, okay. Not going through it. Yeah, it takes you all the way out to here in something which is another console fun fact. The console edition end chunks used to generate out by themselves on limited size islands. I actually surrounded the edge of my island with these stone slabs just so I could remember where it was. And as you can see, there is an end city over here in a very bizarre set of conditions. Look at this. This is one of the oddest things. There's just a huge gap, and then there's more end over there. By the way, speaking of my end, the biggest problem in this world comes with 1.20, because I have to find all of the new trims by, going to every one of these structures. There's so many of them, but I can't just go to any one of those structures. I have to go to a structure which doesn't already exist in my world. This presents some problems because I've already been to most of these. So if we go to this particular end city, it'd be funny if it wasn't looted, but if we go into this end city, you'll see I've already been... Man, I haven't been here. There's an elytra here for me. There's some diamonds in this chest. Are they going to be the spire trims? Anyway, my point is to say that usually it's very hard to find new end ships I haven't looted, but this one I clearly... It's so close to the one that was in the old chunks. How could I not have been here? It's like the first one I would have found. Anyway, so... seriously. It's very hard to find existing structures that I haven't already explored, and so I'm struggling particularly hard with bastions, nether fortresses, and the hardest of all, the jungle temple and the woodland mansion. I am currently on a quest to get every single trim in Minecraft, and finding some of the structures enough times is easy. Look for new deserts and pray you find a desert well, or pray you find a desert temple. But when it comes to finding new end cities, it's a little harder. Anyway, if you want to look around my world and you want to see all these weird things for yourself, be that the weird end with a, again, it's a city that is on its own little island that is so close to other ones. But if you want to see your way around any of this world, then you can actually download it for yourself. If you would believe, this entire world is available on the marketplace, and you can download it and you'll get free updates, including a new one that's going to be coming soon after 1.20. It's been out for a while, and I have every single trim for every single piece of armor trim, I should say. Then I will be uploading the world with all of those onto the marketplace, and it's a free update for people who already own the world. So if you want unlimited free updates to the Let's Play World for Life, if you want to see all of these weird things, then make sure you download it today, because it's a thing you can do, and it's unlimited updates that way. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. There are shulker boxes all over, or shulkers all over this place, which I find incredibly interesting. I'm not sure what's happened. Are there some down here too? No, there's not. I guess I came to the end city, grabbed the elytra, and then went out, and then for some reason covered the place in stone slabs. I have no idea what I was thinking. To be totally honest with you, that's kind of a lot of the things in this world. When I look at most of my old builds, it feels the same. But yeah, for now, hope you'll enjoy the video. Look forward to seeing you later in the year for the 11-year anniversary world tour, because I'll see you in the next one, probably. Goodbye. Ouch. Goodbye. Now I know that we can actually use fireworks below Y0. We can do something fun. We're down here, and now we're back up. Yeah, fun. Okay, goodbye.